WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Good evening, everyone. It's a meeting that could have a $2 million impact in Lowndes County. For the past few months, Lowndes County and Columbus leaders have been trying to draft a proposal to send to state lawmakers to renew the 2% restaurant tax. The Columbus Convention and Visitors Bureau met this afternoon to discuss moving forward on a resolution and also the possibility of entering into an interlocal agreement with the City of Columbus. Our Quentin Smith was at the meeting. He joins us live with the very latest.
Yeah, Joey, during that meeting today, the CVB board agreed to fund the City of Columbus $350,000. Now, $300,000 will go towards renovations on the 4 baseball parks at Prost Park, and $50,000 will go towards the amphitheater. Now, I do want to point out, this funding is solely based upon the city and county having a joint unanimous resolution to be sent to lawmakers regarding the 2% restaurant tax. Now, you may remember it was last week the county approved a resolution, but it was not unanimous. It was a 3-2 vote. Earlier today, I talked to CEO Nancy Carpenter. She says it is believed that if the city does, if they accept this interlocal agreement, if it is approved, that the city would drop their resolution and agree to the one that the county has drawn up. But again, as of right now, that proposal isn't unanimous. It's 3-2. So right now, the CVB says they're waiting on the county and the city to unanimously agree on the resolution to be sent down to Jackson. Reporting live in Columbus, Quentin Smith, WCBI News.
A weekend hotel fire in Houston means a loss of business and revenue for the town. Our Jory Talley joins us live in the studio with more on what this means. Jory?
The fire leaves the city with just one hotel and a few bed and breakfast, and it's expected to mean big losses to Houston's 2% tourism tax collections.
A caved-in roof, burnt door numbers, and rubble. That's what's left of the Western Inn & Suites off Highway 8 after an early Saturday morning blaze. Houston Fire Chief Jonathan Blankenship says it's not every day firefighters respond to hotel fires, especially ones that destroy every room.
They're built in such a way to hopefully prevent such a large fire and loss. They have to meet codes the way they're built, so it's very rare to have such a total loss. You'll have a hotel room that catches fire or something, but they're usually quickly extinguished, contained.
It took firefighters almost 4 hours to put the fire out, but its effects will continue to smolder in the city's budget.
Any type of loss from a revenue source or, in this case, a place to stay, and also as a part of a revenue source from the tourism side, it's going to impact it, whether it's $1 or $10,000. I mean, it's going to be a loss from it.
Built in 2000, the Western Inn was also the city's newest hotel.
When people come in for any type of activities, they're looking for a place to stay. So we're hoping that they can rebuild this one and get some good areas for people to stay when they visit Houston.
Mayor Stacey Parker says the community is invested in a Main Street program, and one part of it is finding ways to recruit more business and attract more people to the area.
This is a prime opportunity to put our best minds at work, and hey, do we or don't we need motel hotels? Our plan says it does, so it's going to give us that opportunity to do the legwork and say, look, hey, we need you back.
The State Fire Marshal's Office, the Chickasaw County Sheriff's Department, the Houston Police Department, and the Houston Fire Chief were all back at the scene today. The cause of the fire is still under investigation.
The government shutdown causes some inconvenience for travelers along the Natchez Trace. The lapse in federal appropriations means the National Park Service is unable to fully staff some of its properties. Among other things, that means restrooms along the trace are locked up. The Park Service says visitors need to use extreme caution since staff will not be available during this time. Other park services such as maintaining roads, collecting trash, and providing services for NPS-operated campgrounds are also unavailable until operations resume. The military mission of the Columbus Air Force Base continues in spite of that shutdown. The pilot training mission is continuing as normal, but civilian employees and some support functions have been impacted. In a statement this afternoon, base officials say about half of the base's civilian employees were furloughed Monday morning. Since a resolution passed, normal operations resumed and those employees should return to duty. Madison businessman Whit Hughes, who's looking to fill Congressman Greg Harper's seat, makes a stop in the Golden Triangle today. Hughes is one of 5 running to fill the House seat to represent Mississippi's 3rd Congressional District. Hughes, a former Mississippi State basketball all-star, you can see here from a WCBI documentary. Hughes says this is the first time he's run for office, and he says bringing better jobs to Mississippi is one of the things he wants to tackle.
With my campaign, you can expect me to talk about traditional issues like protection of life and protection of the Second Amendment and free and fair markets. But honestly, what's foremost on people's minds right now is jobs and the economy and how to bring opportunities to communities like Starkville. And you know, that really speaks to my background and my skill set in relationships.
So far, no Democrats have filed to run in the race. The deadline to qualify is March 1st, and party primaries are June 5th. It's shaping up to be a crowded Republican primary in that field for the District 3 House race. State Senator Sally Doty has also filed paperwork to seek the seat. Doty is from Brookhaven and represents District 39. She made her announcement on Twitter today. She's up against Michael Guest, Perry Parker, Morgan Dunn, and of course Whit Hughes, who you just heard from. Time now to turn our attention over to Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson. He joins us with a first look at our forecast. Keith?
Joy, some showers and storms earlier today, a lot of cloud cover as well. All of that on the way out. We've really cleared that system out. And currently, clear conditions across our region. Temperatures are gradually cooling on down across our region. We've got a good mix of, let's say, 50s, even a few low 60s out there. So still quite mild out there, a bit breezy in some instances. So we will gradually cool down into the low 40s by 1 o'clock in the morning. Lows tonight down into the mid to upper 30s with mainly clear conditions. Pretty nice for the next couple of days. The full forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks a lot, Keith. The Mississippi State Department of Health confirms the first child flu death of this season. The death occurred in South Mississippi, with few details being released due to the victim's young age. Overall, there have been 17 total children to die from the flu in Mississippi since 2008. Just in the 2017 to 2018 flu season nationwide, the number of child flu deaths has risen to 30. This year's flu strain is particularly harmful for children and those over 65. Investigators continue investigating a deadly fire. A Morville woman and her dog died in that blaze. Around 7 o'clock last night, a neighbor noticed smoke coming from this camper at 1467 State Park Road. 2 men tried to get inside the camper where 66-year-old Gwendolyn Lyle lived with her pet. Fire crews were able to put out the fire, but Lyle did not make it out. Lyle's sister said the victim had lived there for a couple of years. The State Fire Marshal's office is investigating that blaze. First responders learned how to respond to an emergency involving a pipeline in Lowndes County. The meeting was held at the Trotter Convention Center today. Participants learned about the agencies that are called out to the scene and possible health side effects of a leak. They were also told about different pipeline system types. Another goal of the meeting is to educate the public about how they can help prevent potential disasters.
Place the call to 811 before you start doing any excavation out there in the field, including homeowners, because we're all excavators. We've all put in a fence, we've all planted a tree, and the state law requires that a call to 811 needs to be made.
The penalty for not calling 811 ranges from $500 to $5,000.
Thanks to a donation from FEMA, Winston County now has 4 additional storm shelters. Hear from EMA and the community coming up.
Welcome back, everyone. Tornadoes are familiar sights in this area, and Winston County has seen its share. County leaders work with the federal government to help people stay safe. WCBI's Parker King was down in Winston County today. He joins us live in the studio with more about their plans. Parker?
Joey, their plans came from a stroke of luck that was getting 4 high-quality storm shelters for free. All the county had to do was pay to have them moved, and that's what they did in late December across the county to give citizens a little more peace of mind.
Give me some shelter. That's what FEMA did after Winston County was hit by an EF4 tornado in 2014.
So we had those storm shelters placed in Louisville when we established a temporary hospital.
To shelter patients and employees if another storm hit the area. Now that Winston County Medical has been rebuilt, FEMA has no use for them.
These storm shelters become excess to the federal government. So the Board of Supervisors of Winston County petitioned to have those storm shelters that were left over gifted to the county. And they were.
And all the county had to do was pay to have them moved. The shelters were placed throughout the county, one of them in Dean Park, which is an area that's been petitioning for a shelter.
We thought it was fair and just if the county would do something to provide some shelter for the people in that community. And we are pleased that the county did provide a 34-person storm shelter.
While the sign on the outside says this can only hold 34 people, EMA tells us that it can easily hold double that. The 77,000-pound structures are able to withstand winds up to 250 miles per hour, something that gives citizens a sense of security.
Well, I feel safe, I feel secure if I'm traveling on Highway 15 and if it's a tornado in the vicinity, I can just whoop up in the park and be out of harm's way.
Security has been a concern since the tornado here 3.5 years ago. We've had lots of people purchase their own home storm shelters, and we have people that are not able to do that. So the county is able to provide storm shelters for those folks, especially in the more populated areas.
Letting citizens know they're being taken care of.
They have that security knowing they're being protected as best as they can be protected.
So in total, Winston County shelters can now hold around 3,100 people, which is around 15% of the county's entire population.
And ironically, we did have a tornado touch down in Mississippi today. An EF1, northeastern parts of Covington into parts of Jones County. This was very brief this morning, about 7.5 miles long, but that was earlier today. The full forecast is next.
Your first alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
Sunny and seasonable weather is shaping on up for the rest of the work week. Some showers possible by the upcoming weekend, but between now and then, things are looking pretty good. Now, this morning, yes, we had the clouds, we had the showers, we had the storms, we even had a brief 15-minute-long tornado warning in southeastern Noxubee County. Nothing coming from that, thankfully. But that was our Alpha Insurance time lapse from Vernon at Durham's Pharmacy in Vernon. I always mess that up. I don't know how, but that's what it is. Durham's in Vernon. All right, showers on the way out towards Georgia right now, eastern Alabama. We had anywhere between 1/4 of an inch and an inch of moisture, needed moisture around here earlier today with that active weather. Now on the northern side of this, look at that. That is I-94 in downtown Minneapolis right now. Just under 10 inches of snow in Minneapolis as of 6 o'clock with that blizzard that has been ongoing up there. So that is the northern side of the system, but that moisture fetch goes all the way down into the Pacific, really taking up about 2/3 of the United States right now. Behind it, though, notice how there's no bitterly cold Arctic air coming on down from Canada. We have no teens, single digits, or below zero readings out there. For us, we've got 50s and 60s down here in the southeast. So yes, we are going to cool things down, but it's not going to be as dramatic as what we had last week when we got down to about 0 in some spots here Wednesday morning of last week. Tonight, mainly clear, 37 degrees as an average. Some spots a little bit cooler or warmer depending on the situation. Maybe a little bit of low cloudiness grazing the northern part of Mississippi and Alabama late tonight and for tomorrow. We're looking at some low to mid 50s in most spots tomorrow, a little bit cooler farther to the north, but in general, a pretty nice Tuesday for us. Eventually, mostly sunny in all spots, if not in all spots all day long. We'll just see how it all shakes out. Winds from the northwest switching to the west as we go throughout the course of the day at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. So high pressure comes on in. It will take control of our weather for the middle of the week. We get behind high pressure and we get those southerly breezes later this week. So a bit of a cool stretch midweek, but this is about where we should be for this time of year. Low to mid 50s, lows down into the upper 20s to around 30. Later this week, though, a better shot at some low 60s by Friday. I mentioned those rain showers. It's possible Saturday into Sunday, that next system. We'll just see how it all comes together. At this point, it doesn't look like we'll see anything strong or severe, with temperatures in the 50s for Saturday and Sunday.
Coming up, another achievement for the Mississippi State women's basketball team. We'll tell you what that is next in sport.
CI Sports with Robbie Donahoe is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
History made today at Mississippi State as Vic Schaefer's Bulldogs team rose to number 2 in the newest AP poll. That's the highest ranking in the poll ever in MSU women's basketball history. Hail State hoops right behind unanimous UConn. At number 1 is both the Bulldogs and Huskies, the lone remaining unbeaten teams in women's college hoops. MSU coming off that 71-52 win over previously 6th-ranked Tennessee on Sunday. Well, on the men's side of things, Ben Howland's Bulldogs are on the verge of breaking through. Mississippi State knocked down their first top 25 win in 7 years earlier this year and very nearly won their first SEC road game in over a year on Saturday at Alabama. The chances to break through and rise have been there. Now the Bulldogs have to learn to finish the job.
There's no question that we've had some opportunities, up 9 with 7:30 to go in Oxford, up 10 to go with 12 minutes left in the game against Auburn at home. The other night, the game's tied with 1:14. We get a stop, and then we don't block out. And, they come right in there and grab the ball and put it back in to go up 62-60. Those are plays. If you're going to win in this league, you're going to make those tough, gritty plays. And that's happened to us a couple of times. It happened to us at Oxford late where we missed a block out. And, I don't have to bring it out to our team. I think they're pretty smart. I think they know.
We'll get to the men's schedule here in a moment. For the women, Ole Miss will be at Tennessee, along with Florida at Mississippi State Thursday. And then Sunday, the rematch between Matt Ensel and Vic Schaefer at 1 p.m. from the Pavilion. If you can't get a chance to get to Oxford, the game will be on ESPNU. For the men's basketball schedule, Tuesday, Saturday schedule, apologies, I should say Saturday. Tuesday's games will be Alabama, Ole Miss, then MSU at Kentucky, and then Saturday will be Ole Miss at Texas, Missouri at Mississippi State. It would be awesome if we had all 4 teams playing Sunday, but those are the Saturday games between Ole Miss and Mississippi State as the Rebels will go to Austin to take on the Longhorns, and that Big 12 SEC Challenge, Bulldogs and Tigers will be in SEC play. To baseball, the new Dudy Noble Field really coming together. Construction continues on Mississippi State's baseball sanctuaries. Andy Cannizzaro tweeted out pictures of the new venue today. The Diamond Dogs will play the first month of the season away from home. They will return to Starkville for their first series in the new ballpark coming up in March. To recruiting news in football, add another area star going to the next level. That's Hamilton Lion and ICC DB Keyshawn Hurd, who announced via Twitter on Monday that he is verbally committed to Southeast Missouri State. Hurd has spent the last 2 seasons in JUCO and his sophomore season with the Indians. Hurd finished with 27 total tackles, 1 forced fumble, 2 fumble recoveries, 1 pick, and 3 total touchdowns. And he's got that sprinter speed to boot, so he's going to do pretty well for himself at the next level. Congratulations to Keyshawn. And another commit today, EMCC quarterback Lindsey Scott is going back into the SEC. The former LSU Tiger announced he is verbally committed to the Missouri Tigers. Scott completed 65% of his passes in his only season in Scuba for 3,481 yards and 29 touchdowns to go along with just 11 picks. He also ran for 729 yards and 6 more scores. And No, I think Ed Orgeron may want a new quarterback, so kind of surprising that he's not there anymore, but that's just sort of the revolving door of quarterbacks in college football. It just sort of happens that way. But he'll do well at Missouri. They got a high-flying offense. Josh Heupel coming in to be the head coach. He'll do well there.
Yeah, they'll be fun to watch as always.
Yeah, definitely.
All
Barry
right.
Odom's there. Josh Heupel's going to UCF. It's been a long last few weeks. Just bear with me.
Robbie's going to get some rest. We'll be right back.
Stay with us.
It's good that we got our unsettled weather out of the way today, Joey. The rest of the work week, tons of sunshine, seasonable temperatures here.
It's like a heat wave compared to last week.
Oh, I know, a whole different world. Yesterday we were in the low 70s. You know, remember last Wednesday morning we were down to around 0 in some spots. So now we've gotten back to where we should be for this time of year.
Yeah, feels hot. Normal feels hot.
We've been jerked around all month long.
There we go. All right, thanks, Keith. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Have a great night.